Hello and welcome to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce, where we connect with Troy Chamber members as they give us a glimpse into their company and share some of the business lessons they've learned along the way. Hi everyone, I'm Tara Thompson-Cusack, President and CEO of the Troy Chamber of Commerce, and I'm joined by our amazing co-host and Vice President of the Chamber, Sheila Denstead.
Hey everyone.
First, I'd like to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. Stay tuned for our very first commercial break where you can learn how you can rely on Trion. So Sheila, we have a very fun guest today. Why don't you give us a little intro on who we're meeting with?
I would love to. Today we're meeting with Don Smith, General Manager of Davison Home Services. Don has over 20 years in heating and cooling, including 16 years in tech on the road. Don has grown in his role and moved from technician to service manager and to his current role as general manager. He's considered an expert in residential forced air systems. He's worked all over the state of Michigan and that other state below us, Ohio. In addition, he's passionate about training the next generation of technicians and runs a small training academy to ensure the growth of this field. Thank you for that. Welcome, Don.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Don, thank you so much for joining us. I actually just recently built a home.
Okay.
So do you see like the stress on my face? So yes, it was wonderful. But I guess I was
everything
like,
only takes 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks to 2.5 years. But yes, pretty much. So when we talk about HVAC, we think that it's just put in and we're good to go and we're all set.
Yes.
But it does require a little bit more than that. So can you tell us a little bit about what's important with maintenance and why we should be paying attention to this?
Yeah. So maintenance on a furnace, especially a modern furnace, most modern furnaces condense water inside. And when that water gets inside that furnace, it kind of mixes with some other things, dirt, dust, whatever, and it kind of creates some clogs in the drains. So that's one of the things we need to make sure we get that taken care of. Because if we don't, water will back up into the furnace and shut it down, and you end up with a weird situation where it heats a little bit, then it stops, and then you're like, oh, do I have to call someone? Oh, no, it's heating again. And then that goes on until the weekend, right? And that's the only time anything ever really breaks down is the weekend when it costs more.
So when you're talking about maintenance itself, like what is it? So how often should we be calling you? Like, should we be waiting for something to happen? I was going to say, I don't want my house to be freezing and then be like, well, no, it's time. So what are the things we should be doing?
Yeah, much like your oil change in your car, right? Your car kind of says, hey, I still have some time, but we should probably do this. Your furnace should be maintained yearly, especially if it's a newer modern version where it's what we call 90% or above efficient, where it vents in PVC pipe, because that's the ones that condense water. Also, when your flame comes on, there's a little sensor, and that sensor is actually in the fire. And if you leave anything in the fire long enough, it gets kind of sooted up and doesn't really work real well. So that needs to be pulled apart and cleaned. And then we go through the heat exchanger to make sure there's no breaches or cracks, because if you have that, then you can get CO in your breathable air. There's all kinds of bad things that happen then, obviously.
I'm sure you've seen some bad things.
Seen some very bad things.
So you say newer furnace. What year do you consider newer asking for a friend?
Anything that's probably 10 years old or older needs to be maintained more often, because the lifespan of a furnace is about 15 to 20 years. And if it hasn't been maintained well, then you take the chance if it's been overheating more often. So therefore, it's been using the safeties, which aren't built to be controls. They're just there just in case. So they're not really designed to be used a lot. So then we get into having to replace some safeties. Changing that filter is one of the most important things you can do. Your fan blade, if it gets about 1/8 of an inch of buildup on your fan blade, it'll reduce the push of that by about 1/3. So let's say you have a 3-ton air conditioner and you get a little bit of dirt on your blower wheel. Now you've only got a 2-ton air conditioner. And imagine if you have an 1,800 to 2,400 square foot house, right, on a hot day, and you've lost 1/3 of the capacity. That's a huge problem.
So this is a plug to my parents. I'm looking directly. It's time to change your furnace, guys. It's been, I think they're on year 30. So it's,
That's pretty good. Yeah. So the one thing about
or really bad because they're dealing with it.
A 30-year-old furnace, think about like 30-year-old technology in anything.
Yes.
Right? So even let's take a car. A 30-year-old car might be cool to drive around on weekends, but do you really want to drive it every day?
Nope.
So you want that appliance is so important that people don't remember that until I say shut it off for a week in February and tell me how it works.
So my father's argument of it's a classic is not really the same thing in furnace.
Yeah, sure. So is his consumers and DTE bill, right?
Exactly.
I'm looking at a new air conditioner for my house that the rep was telling me only draws 6 amps of electricity. And the reason that's so important, especially to me, is that 2 to 7 shutdown, right? When consumers or DTE takes over your electric bill and says, well, we're going to charge you double if you run your air conditioner the hottest part of the day. So most air conditioners run at, anywhere from 20 to 30 amps. So if I can get one that runs at a fifth of that.
That's impressive.
I wish I was writing notes right now. Glad I can watch this later.
We'll
Good
be
news
fine.
is I think they're recording.
All right, nitty gritty time.
Sure.
Air filters.
Air filters.
Why do we need them? How many times do I need to buy them? How often do I need to change them? Are there better ones out there? Does price really matter? Let's discuss.
Yeah. So I have a 5-inch filter. I change it about every 6 to 9 months. 1-inch filters about every 30 days of runtime.
Oh, wow.
If you think about a filter, think about throwing P-rock at a chain link fence. What's it actually going to stop? And dust particles are so fine, right? If you're using the cheap blue or the cheap green one that's all made out of like fiberglass, it's not really stopping anything. It's letting everything kind of pass through it. So if we're not using a better filter, and 1-inch filters that are pleated aren't always better because they clog up fast. If you think about when you take that pleated filter apart and you stretch it out, it's only going to stretch about 3 or 4 inches. If you take a 5-inch filter that's pleated and stretch it out, it might go from here to the ceiling.
Oh,
So you have
wow.
all that extra surface area to pick up dirt and dust. They also make electronic media filters that work really great that'll let almost anything bigger than like 4 or 5 microns. It'll stop everything like that, but it will kill and capture anything that comes in contact with it. Bacteria, viruses. If you have children, grandchildren, things like that in the wintertime, kids are always sick. They bring all that lovely stuff home. So if we push that through that filter, it'll kill it, and it won't be able to reproduce in your house. Running your fan constantly through your filter will change the air through your filter 5 times an hour. So if you think about put everything in your house through your filter 5 times an hour, there's not a lot that's going to survive within 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, and it's great for allergies as well.
Absolutely.
Obviously, it's funny. I do notice a difference when I actually switch it out. I may take a little longer than I should, but I do notice a difference in the air quality.
And depending on
and I don't dust as much.
Exactly.
So I will say that it's helped in the housekeeping. So
if you're on a maintenance plan, depending on how big your filter is, right? A lot of times when we just come out to do your maintenance, we just change it when we're there.
yeah.
So you're not even having to deal with that. Same thing with your humidifier. If you have a humidifier, having to change that panel in the fall. Most people in this area are on city water, so they can get a little bit more time out of that if they don't get it done right at the 1-year mark.
I enjoy more that you just told me I don't have to do it. So I'm going to go with yes. Usually I force the husband anyways, but still, I'm good with that.
One of the things that Davison does a little different is when we offer you packages for replacement equipment, we will offer you up to 10 years of filters at today's price, and we will bring them to you.
Oh, that's great.
And so you'll have them for the next 10 years. And as long as we're doing your maintenance, we're just going to change them out when we're there. And then you're not paying the upcharge in 4 or 5 years when inflation kicks in and raises the price of those filters.
Yeah, that's a great
Good
service.
to know.
Nice. Well, guys, I think this is a good moment to take a quick break and hear a word from our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. We'll be right back.
I'm Joe Vaccari, President and CEO of the Joe Vaccari Restaurant Group, which encompasses 24 restaurants throughout the country. With the addition of Trion, our general managers don't have to spend hours doing paperwork and putting people in our system. All that's done by Trion now, so they can work on what they are there to do, take care of our customers. That's why we rely on Trion.
You can always rely on Trion.
Welcome back to Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. We are here with Don with Davison Home Services. So Don, let's talk thermostats.
Okay.
So I am the girl, I'll be honest. I like it at 68 degrees. I like to pretty much shiver and wear sweatshirts all year round into my home. When we talk about thermostats, obviously, what is a good place to be? Where should the location be of the thermostat? But also, what is the temperature that makes the most sense for people?
Okay. So the location, so if you have a 2-story home, right, especially if you're not running that fan constantly, hot air is always going to rise, cold air is always going to fall. So the only thing that cares about temperature in that house is that location of that thermostat. That's the only spot in your house that's guaranteed to be 68 or wherever you keep it. A well-hydrated house with a good humidifier and good airflow will always feel warmer. So like I keep my house at 65.
Oh, you're my people.
And people come to my house and they see my thermostat and it says, my thermostat's probably as big as one of your iPhones, right? And they'll say, well, there's no way. It's warmer in here than that. I have proper humidification. I have better ductwork. I have things running constantly. So my 65 feels like 68.
Okay.
So that makes a big difference. And mine's in the hallway right off the kitchen. So it's not too far out of that, main living area where people are going to walk around. If you have a 2-story house, I would highly recommend 2 systems or a zoning system to keep that upstairs more even. And then that depends, are you going to keep it in the master bedroom where I'm the only person that matters, right? Or am I going to keep it in the hallway where everybody gets to take a turn at keeping the second floor?
Well, so we should hide it from everyone else and be selfish is what we're saying.
That's
Wonderful.
where most people do it.
I don't oppose this message.
That's right. I have been in a few places where they are in the hallway, but not many. Actually, most homes that have a second story zone system or a second story system, it is in the master
I was going to say, mine is in the hallway, and I can tell you how angry I am every time waking up in the middle of the night to go out and just drop it to make it colder. So I get this. So
That's good into the Wi-Fi thermostats and things like that, where you just...
Oh, that's valid. Yeah.
To make it colder.
Most people don't, when I put a Wi-Fi stat, they never use the thing on the wall. They just use their phone.
All right, I'll step up my game. Thanks for rubbing it in.
Yeah, and as far as the temperature to keep it at, I think people focus too much on the number. It's not the number. Like,
It's the
if
comfort.
I turn up to 72, then I'm going to pay more DTE or consumers. I mean, the comfort is what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
So we have older people that live and die by that. You can't, my old furnace, I could keep it at 68 and it was fine. And now I got to keep it at 72. Is it the temperature, or did you just, pass that threshold of where your skin thinned out a little differently?
Yeah. Or the 35 plus year old furnace that my family still has. So yes.
Those are blast furnaces too. If you think about it, when you were a kid and you went out and played in the snow and you just come in and stand on the register,
Yes.
they don't make those furnaces anymore. Modern furnaces are more of a warming furnace. We don't really want you to feel those big temperature swings. So your parents' furnace probably runs by 5 or 10 degrees different. Whenever it kicks on, it'll heat up 5 degrees warmer than the room.
Oh, it's straight magma. Yeah.
And where your furnace probably just tries to stay within 4 degrees instead of 10.
That I didn't know.
Dude, I gotta make sure my husband watches this one. So, we talked a little bit about the dryness in the house.
Yeah.
Some houses, not saying mine, maybe a little uneven, maybe settling, or seem dry all the time. What leads to that? How can we fix that? What can you do to save my house?
So, or your friend's house,
Asking
right?
for a friend.
Oh, yes, my friend's house.
Yes. Adding a humidifier, or sometimes when we get into bigger homes, we have to add steam humidifiers, especially if you have pianos or maybe you have musical instruments that you guys play. Want to make sure that we get enough humidity. You want to be close to that 45, 50 in the wintertime. That'll get rid of the bloody noses. That'll get rid of even the dry cracking in your floors if your hardwood floors start to split, or even your trim work. Your trim work will start to separate.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
if you have crown molding or real nice trim work in some of your rooms that you want, the rooms that you're entertaining in, we want to make sure we keep that humidity high. If we can't keep up with the right humidifier, then the next level is go to steam. And then it puts steam right into your ductwork as it comes on, and that steam helps humidify the house better, which actually makes you able to tolerate a lower temperature. If you think about a 90-degree day with high humidity, you go outside and it's pretty warm. You might be out there, sweating. If you think about an 80-degree day with low humidity, you might be out there in even a light jacket, just, because you're working in the yard. So that humidity holds that heat in the air.
She's still asking for friends. It's fine.
My friends are going to love me. So going back to HVAC systems, they're really expensive to fix, and we know that, and that's okay. Why does it seem that some companies, though, are always trying to push things on us? What are they pushing on us? Do we really need these? How do we know what we really need?
Yeah, that's a valid point. Think about everything. Like, I just got back from a cruise, and everything was an upsell on the cruise. I mean, even like dinner. Oh, did you want a steak? Oh, that's going to be $20 more. You just paid all this money to get on this boat, and you're going to charge me more, right? With us, the stuff that we should be entertaining with, giving you guys stuff for is like indoor air quality, better controls packages. So we have a controls package that we put in an air conditioner. There's things in an air conditioner that wear out pretty quickly. There's things in air conditioners that bugs can get into and create a problem. We have controls that will lower the starting amperage, and we have controls that'll stop those things from happening. They do add a cost to the beginning. The reason manufacturers don't put them in is because the bid to get that furnace or air conditioner sold to the suppliers is so close that they add $15 in cost of parts. It throws them out of the game. So they put them. It's funny because they will put them on the wire diagrams, like you should have this, but we're not going to put it in there. We'll make you buy it. So a lot of those things that we're adding are hopefully the guys are doing it the right way, and they're offering you an upgrade or more indoor air quality, better filtration, UV bulbs, ionizers, things like that. If they're just offering you straight repairs on stuff that's 2 years old, I would ask why did that part fail? It's only 2 years old. Or is it just starting to get worn out? They don't make us, when we sell you a furnace or an air conditioner, they don't make us size it perfectly. And a lot of companies don't. They just go in and, oh, you had a 2-ton? We'll take that one out. We'll put another 2-ton in. A friend of mine called me over the weekend. He has a 2-ton air conditioner in a 2,400 square foot house. I have a 2-ton air conditioner in a 1,300.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, does this cool your house correctly? He's like, no, it never has. It's because your house needs his house is set up for a 3-ton.
A 3-ton.
So if people don't size your stuff, or a lot of times they'll oversize it, you'll get what I call, my favorite fictitious company is Some Guy Heating and Cooling. You'll get some guy comes out and he just says, oh no, we'll fix that. We'll put I got a furnace in the shop.
I got something off the back of the truck that I can bring in for half the cost.
And it's maybe far too big for your house.
Yeah.
So think of your ductwork like a highway system, right? All your heat runs are exits. If we can't get the traffic off the highway, we're going to overheat or we're going to freeze up the air conditioning. And that becomes a huge problem when you talk about sizing. So if we're selling you some stuff, a lot of times it's because maybe something wasn't sized correctly, or even your ductwork that we put in for not to get too far into the weeds any further than I already am. Ductwork is not sized correctly. You will not get proper airflow. Same, go back to that highway system. You can't move enough cars to push it through the air to get the right cooling or heating. And a lot of people don't set up a furnace correctly when they install it. They just put it in and think, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
You hit on the duct aspect. Cleaning? How often should that be done? Duct cleaning.
Oh, great question.
Duct cleaning companies say 5 to 8 to 10 years. I look at it this way: if your house is pretty clean, right? You don't have a lot of pets. You don't have a ton of people in and out of your house all the time. You're probably good for 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
But think about it being a new house, all the drywall dust, right? When they sanded your house up.
I put my hand in it and I found actual chunks of wood, and I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah, those guys might kick garbage. Like we've pulled McDonald's bags, we've pulled beer bottles.
Yeah.
When we've done duct cleaning at people's houses, because the contractors just kick all that stuff in the ductwork.
My old
and
house was like that.
Oh yeah.
The consequences, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we do a thing called a tissue test. You just take 3 squares of toilet paper, connected, highly scientific piece of equipment. Don't market that on Amazon.
3 squares.
3 squares holding it. Yep. And when turn your fan on and all your returns, stick that on your return and see if it'll hold itself there.
Oh.
If it won't hold itself there, there's something wrong with the pull of your furnace.
Does it need to be 1 ply, 2 ply? No. Well, Don, is there any other last little nugget you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Keep your furnace filter changed. This is like the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing. And if you have 1 inch every 30 days minimum. So.
No. Well, I'm going to go, you said 5 inch, so I'm going to have to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade. And you had me at keeping the bugs out of my furnace so that I would pay for that extra as well. So.
Absolutely. Give us a call. We'll give you that chamber discount, $39.
I love it. So you heard it there, guys. Chamber discount. So let's keep that in mind. But
absolutely.
That's all we have here today on Members on the Mic with the Troy Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us. Special thanks to our presenting sponsor, Trion Solutions. For more information on joining the chamber or for upcoming events, go to troychamber.com. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.